Okay, we went on to Saturday. Oh, does this person look familiar? Hmm. Talking about our community campaign for Think Aorta, Think Family. You too can have your picture right here in place of my picture. My niece, my mom, my sister, my son. This is my family was highlighted this week. We actually got the opportunity to be highlighted in the Think Aorta US's Think Aorta Think Family campaign. And basically, what I talked about in my video, which there is a link here that you can click on, was not so much detail about my story, but really what I learned in the process of my story and how I had to have that really awkward conversation uh, with my family to prepare to meet with my geneticist because they ask you so many questions. I mean, look, doctors, they ask you too on their forms, like, what's your family medical history? And did your mother or your father or your paternal grandparents or your maternal grandparents and sister, who had what, blah, blah, blah. But I never took it as seriously as I did after this aortic dissection. I really started probing and asking very important questions because I had no clue how detached retinas could play a part in this, how degenerative disc disease could play a part in this, how having blood vessels snapping in the pads of my fingers for years when I was younger could play a part in this. Um, Even gum disease, so many different things could actually they mean something different to a geneticist and a genetic counselor than they ever did to me, or probably even to a cardiologist or to a surgeon, because that's not what they do every day. But when you talk to certain people, knowing your family medical history is so critical in determining the degree in which someone's going to be monitored, the degree in which testing is going to be implemented, and how often. And basically, with the end goal being who is at risk in your family for having aortic disease. And now we know that dissections are very rare, but aortic disease in general isn't. It's very common. Aneurysms are very common. I look around a room and I think, how many people in this room right now have an aneurysm? And how many of those people have one that probably is going to need to have surgery soon? I know that there are people in the room with high blood pressure and have no clue. And it all just disturbs me. It's too much for my brain to handle. But you can control what you can control, right? So you have to have these conversations with your family members. Through my conversations, I learned that I had to talk to my son about what he could and couldn't do in physical education in high school. It was a pleasant conversation, trust me. It wasn't pleasant. I've learned about a lot of things that I could and couldn't do, and he could and shouldn't do. Um, so it was just an educational process for me, and it still continues to be even 8 years later. But when you can have these conversations, the whole idea behind Think Aorta and behind talking to your family is to figure out who's at risk early on so that they can be monitored and, if necessary, diagnosed. We want to avoid the dissection. We don't want that happening to anybody. So you want to just track people that you need to track. And you're not going to have genetic testing done on everybody, because if it's not in me, then there's no reason for me to have my son tested. Because if I don't hold any genetic mutations, then he won't. So it kind of, the buck would stop with me, right? But should still be monitored, because maybe if there's nothing in me today, it doesn't mean there wouldn't be something diagnosed with me in 8 years from now. So having somebody be monitored is better than doing nothing. We know so much more than we did even almost 10 years ago. So it comes down to, we would like to hear from you. Well, I say they. Think Aorta would like to hear from you. They would love to have you be part of this campaign, create some marketing pieces here that you can use in your social media. You will have your family's picture put into this, and you can use it and share it with your story. You'll have your own YouTube link that you can share with everybody, and let friends and family learn a little bit about how you had these conversations. Who did you have the conversations with? Was your family genetically tested? Did they get echoes? Like, what happened? Don't really need to know the outcome. That's personal, but we want to know that you're at least doing the hard work. So if you would like to be part of it, and you would like to share that you've done what you need to do, you've done the due diligence, you've had the conversations, the tests have been done, whatever they are, they want to know. They want to hear from you. And there's a link here in this blog that you can click, and then you can be contacted by a member of their team, and they will schedule to have you do your video.
Well,
So
also, before you walk away
awesome.
from this,
Yeah.
click that Think Aorta US in the top right corner.
Okay.
Let's introduce people to what they're gonna see.
Where am I clicking?
Think Aorta US in our all the way up there with our social media.
Oh, this.
Yeah, click that,
Okay.
and then click Think Family. And so this is the awareness campaign, and you can order posters, which you can see below there. And then if you
Hmm.
scroll down just a little bit more, campaign news. Would you like to participate? Scroll up just a little bit. Would you like to
Hmm.
participate in our hashtag ThinkAortaThinkFamily success story campaign? We're on the lookout for families that have gotten their families tested. If you have done so, please help us share your story by filling out this form. And right there is the form, and you can see right below it all the videos that have been associated.
That's right. So we've had two participants so far. We've just launched this recently. We want to hear from you. You can reach out to them directly by clicking the link. If you have any questions and you'd like to reach out to us here at Aortacope, we will direct you to where you need to be. That's info@aortacope.org. But it's right here in thinkaorta.us. And if you click on the Think Family tab, again, as Josh said, you can just come down and click here. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. That was great.